Today I'm covering this story about this very beautiful lady by the name of Susan Kihika. She's one of the first female governors in Kenya of a big province called Nakuru. And she's under some scrutiny right now because she's been in the United States for 5 months after giving birth to twins and has refused to come back to Kenya while she's still being paid this particular salary.
Governor Susan Kihika and the rest of the leaders that we have, it's time for you to realize people are getting tired. And when they get tired of you, they start taking action against you. I don't know what people are going to do until it is stamped in your minds that Kenyans are tired. Umeona venye wamefanyia watu wa Nakuru? She's been in the US. People are filing petitions to President Trump for her to be deported. People are getting tired. Yeah? People are getting tired. We got tired of some matatu sector the other day. People are getting tired of her now. And somebody else. And other people. And some of us are just sitting here thinking social media is not powerful. Social media is powerful. It's very powerful. And people are coming for you. And you're going to continue playing around. You continue. And you're a leader who was elected by people to stand firm and lead people and do things for people.
So this lady was elected in governor, I believe, in 2022. She was first a senator in 2017. So a little bit of backstory about Susan. She comes from a very prominent family, moved to the Dallas, Texas area, went to University of North Texas. By the way, there's so many Kenyans in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Then she went to Southern Methodist, a law school also in Dallas, a very, very good law school, by the way. Started her own law practice in which she specialized in helping immigrants basically get legal stay or get citizenship in America. All right. So she was there for 20 years. I'm assuming that she is now a U.S. citizen. She left, went back to Kenya in 2012. All right. So she's been back in Kenya for 13 years, has ties in America, most likely having United States citizenship. She went to Dallas, I believe, in 1992. So she was there for 20 years. So she got pregnant. She's like 51 when she got pregnant, had twins, then went to have those children in the United States instead of having the kids in Kenya. And so that is one of the reasons why Kenyans are pissed off.
A Kenyan county governor, Susan Kihika, who was recently sentenced to spend 6 months in jail or pay a fine of around $15.5 thousand for illegal disposal of toxic waste material into Lake Nakuru, is missing in action.
By the way, this particular sentence was handed down in February. So 6 months in jail or pay like $16,000 for this situation the young lady's talking about.
On 20th March, residents filed a petition before the county assembly calling for an immediate investigation into her whereabouts. In a 17th January letter, the governor reportedly addressed concerned citizens, letting them know she had traveled to the US to give birth, where she currently remains on maternity leave and would be back in a few weeks' time. It's unclear when the leave commenced, though reports say it's been nearly 5 months since she was seen in public. Now, Kenya's Employment Act entitles women to a minimum of 90 days maternity leave, which an employer may prolong. And that's a luxury most women working informal jobs in Kenya don't have. Nonetheless, her absence has been met with public outrage. However,
so 90 days, but most people don't get it, and it's 5 months maternity leave. Now, I think that this situation would have been handled better if she was in the country of Kenya. But the fact that you are taking taxpayers' money and then you have birth in the United States healthcare system, but not in Kenya. And there are some pretty good hospitals in Nairobi. You know what I mean? I've been to Aga Khan and Parkland. So my good friend Raymond Kahuma just had a really big surgery that was successful. So Kenya has a pretty good healthcare system. And this is very similar to what a lot of African leaders do. They get treated outside of the country. They fly to England, fly to the United States, and then come back for whatever reason. And then that outrages the public or the citizens of the country because, hey, you're using our tax dollars and you don't even want to use our healthcare system. Meanwhile, you know, we can't use the USA healthcare system and we're paying you based on, you know what I mean, our tax dollars.
However, A coalition of women leaders have come to her defense. Among them is Senator Hamida Kibwana, who noted on X that criticizing Kihika for embracing motherhood undermines the progress made in advocating for gender equality and the rights of women in leadership. While maternal labor should certainly not be trivialized, this response appears to be a blatant attempt to deflect accountability. 26% of Kenya's population lives in extreme poverty, earning under $2.15 a day, while members of parliament make nearly $6,000, placing them relatively amongst the highest paid legislators in the world. This in a country where an Oxfam report found that in 2017, less than 0.1% of the population, that's less than 9,000 people, own more wealth than the bottom 99%, or over 44 million people.
Damn! So 9,000 people own all the wealth in Kenya in comparison to the other 44 million people. Now, the monthly stipend or salary is at least $6,000 a month. I mean, it's very similar to what it is in Uganda. And most people are earning $2, $2.20 a day. So that's interesting.
Kihika's absence raises an all too familiar and troubling pattern amongst African leaders who fail to build reliable infrastructure at home while seeking medical care and other services abroad. The message they send is clear. They do not trust the systems they have created for their own people.
Hello?
In what some have called medical tourism, Kihika is not the first, nor will she be the last. Nigeria's former president, Muhammadu Buhari, spent 7 weeks of medical leave in a London clinic in 2017. And his successor, Bola Tinubu, recently approved a widely criticized lavish retirement package that includes an annual disbursement of $20,000 for foreign medical treatment for military officers, judges, and top political office holders. Therefore, trying to silence people's legitimate grievances using feminist tropes is simply an absurd attempt at normalizing the inequalities between the political class and the common people.
Shout out to the young lady for that perspective. Now, I do want to get into some of the commentary that I saw from people living in Nakuru, from what I can gauge. Let's check out the comments because, hey, if she's really loved and doing her job, this is a problem. But here's what they have to say about this lady. This person says, honestly, she has done nothing in Nakuru since elected. This person says, we are already tired. Carol says, true, it's the age of technology and social media. Long gone are the days of hiding behind curtains without accountability. This person says she has literally done nothing since she has entered office. Mary says, we are just fed up. Mayhem says, they are not getting tired. We've been tired. John says, if she's American, it means she can give birth in Kenya and her kids will be still American. They're entitled to U.S. citizenship. It just shows you politicians don't really care about their subjects. Jenny says, why can't Nakuru just impeach her? She's earning a salary from taxpayers' money while she's enjoying her vacation in the U.S. In fact, Wangaza was 1,000 times better than her. At least she was present. Imagine here in Nakuru, nothing is moving. First Nakuru PGH, that hospital is bad. There is another one built in Najoro. It has no facilities, but she gives birth in the USA.
Let me tell you about this story, about this activist who is then looking to have Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika deported from the US. An activist in Nakuru County, this is interesting because the activist is here, in Nakuru County has sought the deportation of Governor Susan Kihika from the US following her 5-month absence.
So they're asking Donald Trump to deport her back to Kenya. That's crazy. So she can do her job, right? The issue is, I believe that lady is a citizen. I'm not sure if she had to give up her citizenship once she became a Kenyan official. I'm not sure, but definitely she has probably some ties there. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously she has ties there. So I don't know, but I don't know what the case is.
Evans Kimori, a civil engineer, has written to President Donald Trump to facilitate Governor Kihika's return to Kenya. As in, just please go to her house and escort her to the plane. Let her come back because there's work to be done. Governor Kihika left for the US 5 months ago. After public pressure on her whereabouts, Kihika came out on the 17th of January to explain that she was expecting a baby and that she was on a long maternity leave. During her absence, she has been running her office from abroad, posting updates on the county events on social media. Last week, Kimori and over 2,000 residents submitted a petition to the county assembly requesting a detailed explanation of Kihika's whereabouts, who has been in charge, and the benefits of her numerous trips abroad. The assembly has 14 days from March 17th to respond to the petition. In his latest move, Kimori, through the US Embassy in Nairobi, wants the governor to physically resume duty. And what it says, the subject of the letter copied to President William Ruto, request for the deportation of Governor Susan Kihika to resume leadership duties in Nakuru County. While maternity leave is recognized under Kenyan law for up to 90 days, she has been absent for nearly 5 months, creating a leadership vacuum in Nakuru County.
Let me just say this also. When we talk about women in leadership, and again, I'm not a person that's against women in political leadership. You know, hey, Namibia has a female president, I believe. Sirleaf Johnson in Liberia was in leadership. However, a man would not be allowed to do something like this. It would look bad if it was a man. So when you're a leader and you are a leader or governor of a place, you have to be accountable. You need to be there because your people are there. All right. A public servant's job is to the public. All right. I understand that you want to be a mother, your wife, and all of that. If that's the case, then before you take this particular job responsibility, maybe you want to have your kids before you do this. But once you become a public servant, your number one duty is to the public. Okay. And if this was a man, it would be even a bigger outcry of such behavior.
The letter was also copied to Trump and Ruto's ex-handles. The activist noted that the governor's decision to seek medical services abroad came after administration ordered the closure of the War Memorial Hospital, CT, one of your favorite stories, which has served residents since 1906. You close the hospital, then you pack your things and go and have a baby in America. No, come on, guys. He noted that the facility's closure happened despite numerous court orders mandating its reopening. Kimori claims that thousands of Nakuru residents, especially those with chronic illness, have been left without essential health care. As an elected governor, she has a constitutional duty to ensure that public services, including health care, remain accessible to the people.
Now, as we saw in the comments, many people were complaining about the healthcare was bad and all of that, and they didn't feel like it was fair. The facilities were indeed crumbling.
In response, Nakuru Deputy Governor David Kones dismissed the criticism, affirming that county operations remain uninterrupted in Kihika's absence.
Nakuru County iko imara. Tunaongozwa na Her Excellency Susan Kihika, and while she's on maternity leave, there is no vacuum in the county government of Nakuru.
Well, that ain't what we heard. It's been a whole big vacuum.
She has given me the mandate to lead the people of Nakuru County, and there is no vacuum. So I'm promising you, the people of Nakuru County, tuko pamoja, ile kazi kama na wetu angeendelesha, niko na tutafanya pamoja.
The Kenya Women Parliamentarians have also defended Kihika, revealing that she recently gave birth to twins while on maternity leave.
Social media being used to intimidate women, to bully leaders, they have been really off the point and off the mark. Myself, I want to sincerely congratulate our Governor Susan Kihika for even showing us that even at our age, we can actually have a child.
No, she's like 51 or 52. She's like 51 now. She got pregnant at 50.
Governor Kihika ni mke wa mtu. Governor Kihika ni mama. Na sasa ni nafasi yake ya kuwa mama. Naomba Wakenya tumpe nafasi awe mama.
The leaders further emphasized that Kihika has the right to seek medical attention anywhere in the world and criticized the unrealistic expectation that women leaders must sacrifice their well-being and that of their families.
Let us focus on what truly matters, that is service delivery, that is governance and leadership, not a woman's personal decisions to have a child or not to have one.
I mean, it doesn't make much sense though, because people said that she sucks as it is. And so, you know, women want to be in leadership in Africa or anywhere else. And then when you do something like this, even the women are critical of it. Because when you are a leader as a public servant, you can't be a leader and do stuff like that. First of all, your facilities in your area are bad, but you're taking money as a servant of that area And then what you're doing is saying the services are not good enough, even though you guys are paying me, let me go somewhere else and then let me stay past the time. And then you're justifying that behavior. So then what happens when you are as a woman, you know, go up and run for election? They don't want to vote for you. They don't want you as a politician because you're not accountable and you don't want to step into leadership. You want the title of leadership to some of those people in their mind, but you don't want to be a leader. And this is the difference between leadership and people who want to have the title. Leadership sucks. You got to be available. You have to be there. You got to put in the work. You have to sacrifice. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, you don't need to be a leader. Don't take people's money if you can't do it. All right. So guys, what do you think? Those of you that are in Kenya, I mean, I know some of that wasn't Kiswahili. Can you translate that? How do you feel about this, lady? Let us know in the comments. We out.